The king's path begins in Kyiv, in Yaroslav's school, through the hearts of his daughters, who would become the queens of Europe. He was no ordinary Varangian, and his road to the throne began in Kyiv. The future king of Norway, Harald Sigurdsson, at just 15, already held a sword. He fought for the throne alongside his brother, King Olaf the Saint, who in 1030 made his final attempt to regain the Norwegian crown against Nut the Great. In that battle, Olaf was killed. Harald, wounded but alive, set out with his retinue to Kyiv, under the protection of Yaroslav the Wise. Yaroslav did not simply accept Harald as a warrior. He immediately recognized in him a man of destiny. To Kyiv also came, with his mother, his nephew, Magnus, son of the fallen Olaf. He too was destined to be king of Norway. In 1035, at the age of 15, Magnus would return to Norway to take the throne. Kyiv became a refuge for both heirs to the Norwegian crown. But more than that, it became their school of politics, honor, and war. Harald rose to command within the army of Kyivan Rus. Side by side with the Rus, he fought, including against Poland. And then he fell in love. At first sight, his heart was captured by Elisiv of Kyiv, Yelizaveta Yaroslavna, daughter of the Grand Prince, a princess of wealth and majesty, of whom Harald would later write in his songs as he wandered the world. But Yaroslav was not only a father, he was a far-sighted ruler. His condition was simple and stern. Become a king. Win glory in battle. Then you shall have her hand, Yaroslav said. It was not a refusal, but a signpost to greatness. For almost 15 years, Harald fought and won renown, from Kyiv to Sicily, from Syria to the Black Sea. In Constantinople, he joined the Varangian Guard, the elite of the Byzantine army. There he became a legend, hero of battles, commander of the Varangians. His name was feared and respected. His troops won victories in North Africa, Syria, and Sicily. But he did not forget Kyiv. He did not forget Elisiv, and he did not forget Yaroslav's words. He sought not only power, he pursued the promise he had made beneath the walls of Kyiv. In 1045, Harald, now with immense wealth and worldwide fame, returned to Norway to claim the crown and fulfill his vow. At first he was received as a threat, but then as co-king alongside Magnus, and a year later, after Magnus's death, Harald became sole ruler of Norway. It was then that Yaroslav the Wise gave him his daughter Elisiv in marriage. The Princess of Kyiv became queen. Together, Harald and Elisiv founded Norway's new capital, Oslo. But fate would not grant him peace. In 1066, Harald set sail for England, his final bid for a crown. He landed Elisiv with their daughters on the Orkney Islands, intending to return for them after his victory and coronation as King of England. He triumphed at Fulford, but just 5 days later was killed at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, struck by an arrow. This was not merely the path of a warrior. This was the saga of a king that began in Kyiv. Yaroslav the Wise had not merely sheltered a fugitive, he had nurtured a monarch. Harald's story is not only a saga of war, it is the Saga of Kyiv, the geopolitical heart of Europe in the 11th century. Richard the Lionheart, the legendary king of England, hero of the Crusades. Yet few know that in his veins too ran the blood of Kyiv. After England was conquered by the Varangian king Canute, Edward the Exile, rightful heir to the throne, arrived in Kyiv under the protection of Yaroslav the Wise. Here he met Harald Hardrada, likewise a fugitive, and by fate both found refuge in Yaroslav's court. Both served, both were raised at Yaroslav's side, and both fell in love with his daughters. Harald married Elisiv, Edward married Agatha. Their paths diverged. One sought to regain a crown, the other to conquer one. Edward died in 1057, never crowned king. Harald fell in 1066 at Stamford Bridge, only days before the Norman conquest. After the defeat, Edgar Atheling, son of Agatha and Edward, was proclaimed king but forced to submit to William the Conqueror. Agatha fled with her children to Scotland. Her daughter, Margaret of Scotland, became queen and a saint. Her great-grandson was Richard the Lionheart. History remembers the kings, but their roots lay in Kyiv. Kyiv was an academy for Europe's kings, a center of power shaping the new Europe. Alongside Norway's Harald and Magnus, alongside England's Edward, Hungarian princes Andras, Bela, and Levente sought refuge under Yaroslav. Here, in Kyiv, a new generation of monarchs was formed, in the school of politics, the sword, and alliances. Yaroslav saw an ally in Andras. His daughter Anastasia became the Hungarian prince's wife. In 1046, when Hungary erupted in an anti-Christian revolt, Yaroslav seized the moment. He sent his army and secured Andras's return, now as claimant to the throne. That year, Andras became king. Anastasia became queen. After Andras's death, Anastasia became guardian of their son, the young king Solomon. When his uncle Bela challenged him, she turned once more to Kyiv. Her brother Izyaslav sent an army, yet Solomon lost the crown. Anastasia was forced to leave court and withdrew to a convent in Austria, far from royal splendor, but with the memory of a crown won by blood and will. Her fate, like those of Elisiv and Agatha, was a queen's path, through loss, struggle, yet resilience. Kyiv was not only the capital of Rus. In the 11th century, it was the place to which kings turned, for alliances, for support, for royal blood. France. King Henry I could not find a wife. Europe was ensnared in the knots of kinship. Rome forbade marriages between relatives. And so the gaze of the French court turned east, to Kyiv. Envoys came to Yaroslav, bearing gold and petitions. They asked for the hand of Anna Yaroslavna. She listened in silence. She knew this was not personal. This was politics. Her marriage would be a new order, a union of two worlds. Anna departed. Across Europe she journeyed, to a foreign tongue, a foreign throne. But she carried Rus's with her, its learning, its strength. 1051, Reims Cathedral. Anna became Queen of France. She bore a king. She served as regent. She maintained direct correspondence with the Pope, her signature in Cyrillic. Her second marriage aroused Rome's anger, yet she did not yield, for she was of Yaroslav's house. History would call her Anna of Kyiv. France would honor her as the mother of its royal dynasty. She was not only Yaroslav's daughter, she was the symbol that Kyiv was Europe's heart. Her pen was an act of power. Her path was Kyiv's road into the world. The Saga of Anna is the Saga of Ukraine. We restore the power of our history. The Saga Ukraine channel is not just video. It is the memory of our history and our roots, the voice of our ancestors echoing through the centuries. We bring history to life, not only to remember, but to hear. For when we hear history, we hear ourselves. This is the story of a people who stood, who stand, and who will endure. The dignity, the strength, the resilience of Ukraine. This is our history. This is Saga Ukraine. Subscribe, watch, remember.